welcome to Food for Thought. I'm Deirdre Anderson with Delish Personal Chef Services.
And I am Laura Mangone with Chambers Walk Cafe and Catering in Lawrenceville.
Chambers Walk, so full-service caterer.
Full-service caterer, social events, weddings.
Everything.
Lots of corporate.
Bridezillas, everybody.
Some bridezillas, not too many bridezillas. We do a lot of corporate stuff. We do a lot of corporate lunch meetings, breakfast, lunch drop-offs, a lot of deliveries, and
So Laura will, because I'm so small, I was actually going to call my company Small Potatoes this time around because I just didn't want to do the big stuff anymore. Mm-hmm. And I know that I'm never going to make money in this business staying small, but I can sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I have a life.
And you will. It's, because you can do... It's sometimes nice just to do small, get together,
I like
small dinners.
The small. Nice. Like I'll do dinner for up to 70, but that's not even super comfortable for me based on I'm doing all the prep.
Right.
Okay, so you know how it is, how a prep list is, and if you're doing everything. Now on site I might have help.
Right.
But if you're doing everything,
it's a lot.
If it's a lot more than 70 people, and also refrigeration is an issue. So I have found I could do cocktails for up to about 100 or so, dinner for up to 70, but really my sweet spot is more like 40.
Right. Well, I think when you do smaller events, you can get a little bit more complicated with your presentations. You can put a little bit more attention to detail. Not that you don't at larger events, because obviously you have more people helping you plate and whatnot. But smaller's more. It's more easy. It's more. What's
small
the word?
is good.
What's the word I'm looking for? Small is good.
Small is good.
Intimate
sometimes.
is good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So can we talk about the cauliflower pizza we just ate, which was awesome, by the way. I had made it, I told you, for my client. Mm-hmm. And I had to use a recipe because I really didn't know how this was all going to work with, cauliflower. And I remember cooking the cauliflower. Mm-hmm. I remember pulsing it in the Cuisinart.
Right.
I remember trying to dry it out. Mm-hmm. I knew I didn't want a lot of moisture in there. I remember eggs.
Right.
And mine just didn't really turn out so hot.
Well, I will tell you.
And tell us how we make it awesome like this.
Tell you what I just did. I have one little piece left in front of me that I'm going to try not to eat while we're talking.
Please.
I do like to talk and eat at the same time.
Do it. Just don't keep your mouth away from the mic.
Yeah, no. So my cauliflower pizza that I make, and it's sort of, I've seen various recipes over the years, and it's just sort of come to popularity probably in the last year.
Oh, cauliflower is the rage.
It's the rage. Cauliflower mashed potatoes and cauliflower grits and cauliflower. Yeah, absolutely.
Good for cauliflower.
Yay, cauliflower. So what I do is I pulse it in the Cuisinart, and
is it cooked first?
It is not cooked.
Okay,
it's
that might
raw,
be
and
my mistake.
Pulse it in the. I cut it into manageable size pieces. I pulse it in the Cuisinart. I put it in a bowl, a microwave-safe bowl, and I zap it for 10...
Not a plastic bowl.
No, not a plastic bowl. 10 to 15 minutes, covered.
Okay.
And then I let it cool a little bit just so I can handle it. And then if there's a lot of moisture, I will squeeze out the moisture. If not, I just let it be. Mm-hmm. And for one large head of cauliflower, I use probably 4 or 5 eggs. You like the mixture to be a little bit on the soupier side, not completely dry.
Okay.
And
maybe
depending on the size of the cauliflower, you want.
Yeah, mine was not soupy. Mine was maybe that was the.
It
my
needs
mistake.
to be a little bit soupy.
Okay.
And for one large head of cauliflower, I'd use either 4 or 5 eggs. I'd use about 1 cup of really good. I always use Reggiano Parmesan cheese. I mean, it's the best, so that's what I use. So a cup of Parmesan, about a cup and a half to 2 cups.
And also, here's another key, which I think makes yours way better than mine, and that is that you put the Parmesan cheese in the crust.
Yeah, it's in with the cauliflower.
Yeah. I didn't do that.
Yeah, no. So it's cauliflower, eggs, Parmesan cheese, mozzarella cheese, and maybe a cup and a half, 2 cups. So it's pretty cheese rich.
Right.
And then you spread that out in a pan like you're making a crust, and you bake it for probably about 15 to 20 minutes until it's about golden.
What temp?
I pretty much do everything at 375 unless I'm searing meat or doing something
Right.
that I need high temp. I pretty much do everything at 375.
Okay.
And then you take it out and you can put whatever you want. If you wanted to make a white pie, you could put ricotta and mozzarella. If you wanted this pie that I made today, I used some Provençal sauce that I had.
Delish.
Yeah, but you can just put, regular marinara, cheese, meats, vegetables, whatever you like on pizza. Put it back
Now,
in
what are
the
some of
oven.
the other? What are some of the other cauliflower? You talked about cauliflower mashed potatoes.
Cauliflower mashed potatoes, yeah, big thing.
How is that?
It's good actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
No carbs.
No carbs at all. You make it just like you would make mashed potatoes. You boil the cauliflower, you drain it, you mash it up with butter, whatever you want to put in potatoes. Butter, sour cream, a little half and half.
To me,
little
cauliflower is
milk.
just, this is a perfect thing to have happened to cauliflower because to me, cauliflower doesn't really taste like that much.
Mm-hmm.
And so here you're taking it and you're, infusing it with all of these other
Yeah.
flavors to give it, a little
I'm
interesting.
not a big cauliflower fan. I mean, when we were kids, my mom would make cauliflower with like cream sauce, like
Yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But a good friend of mine, JP, does these wonderful things with vegetables. He roasts everything, but he puts a lot of herbs. So he has one that he does, and it's cumin and gosh, I'm going to forget it now. I think it might be cumin and cinnamon.
Okay.
And black pepper,
Nice.
and just tosses it with extra virgin olive oil and roasts the cauliflower. It is so delicious. It just takes on
Wow.
this like really nutty flavor. It's really
I like
good.
that. I might have to steal
Really
it.
good.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
If you were a food, what would you be?
I think we had this conversation, and
But
I
we
wanted.
didn't have it. Did we have it with
I
Vinny?
wanted to be something. I wanted to be something exotic. Remember, I was a pomegranate,
Yeah.
and you said calamari, right?
fried calamari.
Yeah. 'Cause-
Now, here's my segue. Okay, we did talk about it already.
Yeah.
We were discussing before the show. Now that the show is called Food for Thought, so we talk about food, but what we get to talk about really we can segue into other areas.
Yeah.
The reason why I think I'm fried calamari
Yes.
is because people, whether it's the men in my life or the people who take my spin class or my Zumba class, they either love me
Yeah.
or they run away screaming.
Well.
And the thing is, we were talking about this too, about your issue about caring what people think about you.
Right.
And one thing I think that has been really good for me is that I've learned that it's my choice to be fried calamari.
Right.
I'm not a burger with fries. I know how to be a burger with fries. I know how to choose all of the most, spin class. Okay, John Cougar, Billy Joel. Like, I know, Brick House. I know how to be a burger and fries. I don't want to be a
Right.
burger and fries.
Okay, that's a really good
Okay?
analogy.
But if you're going to be fried calamari, you better be prepared for some people to hate your guts.
yeah, I'm not. I guess I'm a people pleaser at heart. I don't know
I am
that
too.
I'm prepared for people to
I
hate
am
my
too.
guts.
I don't purposely try to piss them off. It's just that by me being myself,
Right.
I've noticed that people either, it's just not. I'm just not for everybody, and that has to be okay with me.
Right.
Like,
well, that's a very
because I know that in my heart, I'm a really good person.
Right.
And that's all I have to care about
And
is
that's
being a
all you
really
need
good
to care about.
person, not whether you like what I have to say politically. Who's your fave political? Talk about segue.
We're not supposed to talk about politics or
Oh,
religion or
come
money.
on. Who is it?
I don't have a favorite.
Don't
to
say
be-
Trump or I'll kill you.
No, I hate Donald Trump.
I
I cannot believe what is happening.
hate.
Well, I don't understand how the country.
He's the only
is-
person in the whole world that if he got shot in the head, I wouldn't care.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
I would feel
don't-
fear of him for his family.
I do not.
I would care
wish
for his
any-
family.
I don't wish any ill will on the man. Although I have to tell you,
Hmm.
many years ago when I worked in New York, I met him at a fundraiser at the Rainbow Room where I was working, and it was about the time where there was a pretty large piece of property along the West Side Highway that was in dispute. It was supposed to be not so much affordable housing, but it was going to rather like a good cause, like a developmental group in Midtown Manhattan was trying to get
Trump
this
screw it
property.
up?
He swooped in and like offered like 16 times what
Of course he did.
the developmental group was offering, and it's now where there are all along the West Side Highway. There's all of his Trump buildings,
Yeah.
which are, like it's in the 60s, mid 60s on the West Side. And
I
there's
overheard-
literally like 6 Trump.
I might have said
there.
this. I might have said this last show, but at the dinner party that I catered in Manhattan, one of the people. These were all very sophisticated folks. 6 people. No,
Right.
not a big one.
Right.
But one of the women said, it used to be that if you lived in a Trump building, it was just a little bit embarrassing, and now you actually have to sell.
Oh, gosh. Well, you know what? I don't wish any ill will on him. I just think he's a bully. I think
he's doing this all for his brand. I think he knows he's not going to win. I think he's tapping into people's rage, which they are entitled to be upset about things the way they are now, but their rage is blinding them.
Yeah. Some of the statements that he comes out with are just like Hitler-esque.
He's the whack.
And they're not.
Guess what his favorite food is?
Can you picture him like in a world arena, like having a conversation with a world leader? Like
everything's
huge.
Huge.
But he seems like such a bully to me. I know
he's a huge bully.
I know that he has built an empire, and he has obviously a great head for business.
Yeah.
But I don't, I think as a world leader, that's not the only criteria.
When I was 18 years old, I registered as an independent. I've never changed that. So I have voted Republican. I have I've gone the other way now. I tend to vote democratically, but I don't have any
I don't have
allegiance to a party.
Right.
If you handed me a halfway decent Republican candidate, I might vote for them. But look who you give me.
Yeah.
We got Ted Cruz. Well, who? What?
Ted Cruz is pretty funny. A friend of mine always says whenever she sees Ted Cruz, it looks as if he's about to burst into tears. Like the look on his face is always like
he's about to cry.
Yeah.
So guess what Donald Trump's favorite food is?
Oh, I don't know.
Hamburger.
Something ostentatious like
hamburger. Burgers.
All right. Well,
and then on his birthday,
I think that's Bobby
his sister
Flay's
makes
also. I think there's quite a lot of people that are big fans
of burgers. And on his birthday, his sister makes him meatloaf. Isn't that sweet?
Oh.
But I'm totally feeling the burn. Mm-hmm. I am.
Yeah.
And I just think I'm putting myself out there for criticism. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know some of his ideas are outlandish. I get it. Okay. Mm-hmm. But hello, people. No, most of it's not going to pass in Congress anyway. Mm-hmm. What we need, I think, is to vote for the person. And this person, this very sophisticated person at this dinner party, said the exact same thing.
Really?
Said that when we got to get someone in there who's, as a person, the integrity, because that's the most important thing.
That's what I feel is lacking. I feel like
I did that with Obama, and yet some disappointing stuff has happened, but also some really great stuff has happened.
Exactly.
So all these Obama haters out there, really?
I get it. Yep.
Do you realize that 50% of you really don't like him because it's ingrained prejudice that you don't even realize you have?
Mm-hmm. Didn't you notice the world was falling apart?
I knew Vinny wasn't going to be able to control himself over there.
Sorry.
No, I know.
But as a man, there's a level of integrity. As a man, there's an intelligence that you
so he's what, 70-something? So what?
Yeah.
70's a new 50. What,
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to remember that when I'm 70.
I don't know if I could keep up the pace that he's been on.
It's pretty.
Oh, and
pretty intense.
They showed him. They showed some clips. It was like a Facebook thing. That's how I watch my news. I just follow Facebook. But it was about
Trump
him.
also, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was running through airports.
Really?
They were showing him like he's 70 something,
Right.
but look at this. It's
Right.
a sprightly 70 something
Right.
running through airports.
Oh gosh.
So,
We'll see what happens.
and free college for everybody. My kids are prime ages. I'm down with that. Of course. Okay. And here's what also gets me. Okay, because a lot of the people who have issue with that have issue because it's going to hurt them because they're going to pay more taxes. Well, guess
right.
what? Tough. Tough.
Well,
And a lot of these people
We're
who
a
have a hell of a
country.
lot more
That's why
investments
we
than I
have a-
do, people are sitting on big fat IRAs and houses and shore houses, and I don't want to be taxed. And I'm not even I'm not talking about that upper 2%. I'm
Epsilon,
talking
right.
about like upper middle class people who have stuff, and yet they don't want to pay more.
right.
Well,
Yeah.
I want to pay more, and I don't even have anything. I have.
The way Bernie had brought it down, I read some of his stuff, and he said that, yeah, you'll be paying more in taxes, but you're going to be getting this, you're going to be getting that, you're going to be getting all these
You
other
get
things.
services for
So
it.
you get-
Exactly.
yeah, so,
Right.
and he said the proportion of what you would be paying and what you're going to get back is like double what you're getting back than what you're paying.
And we need a little socialism right now. Sorry, but we do.
I agree.
Because things are a mess, and we need a little boost of socialism. Not that we're going to turn into a socialistic country,
No.
but we just need a little help in that department, and then we can ease off, over the next few years. Anyway, I digress.
Hey, let's get back to food, people.
all right, how much time, Vinny, do we have for segment?
We got 9 minutes.
9 minutes, good. Okay,
Why don't
so
you were going to talk about your
well, I could talk
favorite
about
restaurant?
Well, first I'll talk about what I made for my personal chef client.
Okay.
And her name is Barb, and she's in Princeton, and her husband is Mike, and he's away. So when he's away, Barb gets to eat whatever she wants.
Barb is throwing parties.
Well, she might, here and there. She'll have people over, and but she's also okay. So Mike is the one who, she wants to keep things low fat,
Right.
And he says, no, it tastes terrible when it's no fat. So they're always, and he likes, like liver and onions and hot dogs.
So he
And
okay.
he
Oh,
likes
boy.
salmon and
Right.
shrimp. So
So that's
very
a
often,
challenge when you're cooking for both of them.
And I have to say, as a married couple, they do a very good job of just the one will eat what the other one doesn't really care for as much.
Well, that's good.
They very rarely have separate things. Sometimes, once in a while, if Barb wants salmon, for example, he won't do that. So that'll be a
Right.
night that I'll make him liver and onions. I make him happy.
Right.
So with him away, now I get to indulge Barb with all the things that I know she wants.
Which is what is
Fish.
she- just fish.
Fish,
low
low
fat.
fat, fish, and lots
Make
of
her a
veggies.
cauliflower pizza.
I am going to make her a cauliflower pizza. And once I write down the recipe from you,
Bring
I
her
am going to.
shirataki noodles.
I'm going to bring them on Friday
Right.
for her shirataki noodles because
Good.
Mike would want nothing to do with shirataki noodles, but she'll be all over.
Well,
it.
he might if you make the sauce, unguousness, really.
If I made like a
rich-
what was the one you made last week? The sauce
Last
bolognese.
week it was just a
He
bolognese,
would probably
yeah.
like it if I did something like a bolognese, but
'Cause
he doesn't
really-
really appreciate the whole like no carb thing.
No, but it's still
She
good
does.
pasta.
Yeah.
I think he'll appreciate it just as an interesting pasta.
Yeah. So I did nothing, nothing again over the top, but all the veggies I did either steamed or with the nonstick cook. What's your feeling on nonstick cooking sprays?
I don't really use them. I actually did use one in the bottom of this cauliflower pizza, which is an olive oil spray.
But
and
aren't
it's-
there ones that are healthier? They don't have the
Well, yeah, there's
fluorocarbons or whatever.
There's an olive oil. I think it's
That's the one I
It might be
use.
Bertolli or
Yeah.
or the other B
and it
olive
does,
oil. Yeah.
and it sprays, but it's not like an aerosol
no,
type
it has
spray.
no
It has
chemicals
a-
in it. It's just
Yeah, so
you
I
know.
think it's safe. But so anyway, I don't use it for myself. I'd rather just have a little
Sometimes
bit of real
I'll just
oil.
take
but,
a piece of paper towel and wipe olive oil,
right,
as
right.
opposed to a spray.
But so I did, asparagus and spinach. So all the veggies I did for her was absolutely no fat. So I know she can go crazy and have all
Right.
the veggies she wants, which I know she likes. And then I did a salmon with teriyaki glaze. Now she's a client that she will take the chicken and put it in the oven.
Right.
She doesn't necessarily need to have
You don't have to
everything
do
100%
everything done for her.
Done. she realizes the benefit of doing, like, it's going to
Last
taste
minute,
better
yeah.
if we put the chicken in the
That's
oven
called,
ourselves.
That's called a la minute.
Yes.
At the minute.
Yes. And so the teriyaki sauce, I just take soy sauce
Yeah.
and brown sugar and rice wine vinegar, and I boil it down till it's like syrup, right?
That's teriyaki sauce.
And I never even looked. I never even
Sometimes
knew what
there's
it
a little
was.
hoisin. You can put
Okay.
a little hoisin, but it's just the sweetness. If you have the brown sugar, it's pretty much
And if
the
you
same.
get, what I noticed though too, you got to boil it down to the point of being very thick.
like syrup. Yeah.
But even to the point of almost going solid, because what I've noticed is that the less thick it is, and this is something I'm just learning
Right,
recently.
right.
The less thick it is, when I go to brush it on the salmon,
Yeah.
it starts to melt
Yes.
and fall off.
right. Yeah.
So you're always having to add more,
Exactly.
like during the cooking process.
Yeah.
But I notice if
to
you
keep
if it's
that glaze,
really
if you
thick,
really, yeah.
you can kind of get it on there. It stays.
It's called secco.
what?
It's called secco, which is
Culinary
like
term.
Dry,
Ding,
like
ding.
Dry, basically.
Secco. See, I didn't even know I was been doing a secco. And coconut shrimp, Thai coconut shrimp,
Yum.
easy breezy. That was the one item that did have some fat in it. I told her, look, I use the light coconut.
Right.
If you ate all of that liquid in there, it'll be about 20 grams of fat.
Right.
But you're not going to eat
not,
all of it. You're
right.
just going to flavor. You just,
Exactly.
let it coat the shrimp and then get rid of the rest.
Yum.
Okay?
That sounds good.
Scallion, sauteed scallion in like sunflower or peanut oil, something like that. Coconut milk, garlic, lime juice, fish sauce.
Yum.
Usually sometimes I'll put in a little bit
Man,
of
that
that.
would be delicious over the shirataki noodles
Yes.
with like scallops and shrimp and
Now you're talking.
oh my gosh, that sounds really good.
And just lots of chopped cilantro, easy breezy. I take the shrimp and I put them in a super hot wok.
Right.
And I just kind of toss them really quick and then I dump them in so that they're undercooked in the middle.
Right.
And that when she goes to finish the cooking,
That's-
heating
yeah.
it, it'll just finish cooking the shrimp.
Yeah.
Pan seared.
Which is how we do mostly everything. I'm assuming you do too when you're catering. Like mostly everything that we're prepping when we're prepping.
yeah,
is sort of
when you
raw,
do it right.
when you're sort of like, it's kind of raw in the middle.
Well, yeah, but
because it's got to finish a la minute or at the party.
Well, you know, there's a lot of caterers out there, and I call them the schmoes who do a shiitake job.
Right.
I call them hot box caterers because
Right.
they've got everything in that hot box fully cooked
Yeah.
for hours
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
and then they
No,
just
no,
take
no.
it and everything's overcooked.
Yeah.
I worked for a
There
company.
there is a way to do that, and you can use a hot
Certain
box to
things-
your, you can undercook
certain
something
things
and
are
let
great.
it finish cooking. You
Right.
can let it, the holdover, the
Right.
carryover
Lasagna
cooking.
works great.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
no,
certain
but
things
but even protein, like the carryover cooking, you use that to your advantage. So you underdo it, you put it in,
Finish it in the hot box.
in an hour it's going to be, because just of the ambient temperature and the carryover cooking, it's going to be done perfectly.
You think? I mean, if
Yeah.
it's a little risky because you got to hope that it's.
No.
the
There's an art
temperature.
to it, just like
All right.
cooking.
I worked for a company once, a caterer
Mm-hmm.
who they did all these like fried hors d'oeuvres, those like fried everything,
Stuffed mushrooms,
like
and,
fried. That's like
Yeah,
it all
yeah.
looks like, and it came out. They did it at the shop, and then they brought it in a hot box. Like,
It must have been
really?
all soggy and
It was
disgusting.
gross. It was gross. Anyway, so
You're
what was
gonna
my
talk
last
about-
dish? Oh, so the last dish. Again, there's a house manager that I work with, and she also works as a quote unquote chef for other people.
Right.
And so she was asking me, how do I make shrimp scampi? And I was like, well, it's pretty damn easy and simple. And it's really butter or a combination of butter and olive oil, garlic, lots of it, and the shrimp. I mean,
Yeah.
but so I know Barb is
I put
gonna.
a splash of wine.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
what I do is I lighten it up a little bit, and I saute the garlic, and then I put in some white wine and a little bit of clam juice. The best
Yep.
clam juice I've found is
The
Bar
bo-
Harbor.
The bottle.
the bottle.
I love that.
But
Yeah.
I think it's called Bar Harbor's. The
brand.
infinitely better than any
Right.
of the other ones. It's expensive. It's like $2.50 for a
Yeah,
small.
that little bottle,
So the wine and the clam juice, I kind of let that simmer for a while. And then I took the scallops and I seared them just in a dry pan, high heat, nice golden color on each side, but raw on the inside.
Yep.
Put the scallops in an oven-proof dish. And then I took like 2 tablespoons of butter.
Right.
And I melted the butter in that broth
Right.
and poured over the scallops. So it's still fat. It's, as opposed to maybe having like 100 grams of fat. It's got
absolutely. But
like
you
15.
need that little bit of, even if you're, you need that little bit of
You need
butter.
a little bit of fat.
You need a little bit of, I think, butter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to make it a
absolutely.
true scampi, I think you'd have to have some
absolutely.
butter. But anyway, so it's a variation of scampi. And that was it for her for
Sounds
this
delicious.
week. She's going to get shirataki noodles and cauliflower pizza on Friday.
Good. And then you can get shirataki rice.
Yes,
And use
shirataki
that.
rice. That's my next mission. Okay, we've got to go to break.
Okay.
So when we come back, we're going to talk. We're going to talk some.
We'll
talk some trash.
Hey, this is Pat Foran, and
Zach Romano.
here at panjradio.com. When I have time, I'm hanging out here at the studio.
With the Shack Radio Boys.
PANJ Radio serves Mercer, Bucks, and Hunterdon counties and the world, and we want to serve your business on our airways. Commercial rates start at just $50 for a 30-second spot on your favorite PANJ show. We run your ad not just once, but up to 7 times in a 1-week period. That's a lot of bang for your buck online. We will track the number of listeners your commercial gets, so you can measure how many new customers you get from airing it with us. For more information, please contact Rob at panjradio.com or call 609-460-4550. We can't wait to bring your company new local business on PANJ Radio.
Join us on the first Thursday of each month for Network Lambertville in Lambertville, New Jersey, the most productive open networking group in our area. At Network Lambertville, we serve award-winning wines, this month from La Vite, importers of fine Italian wines from Sicily, a fully catered meal created by Bitter Bob's Barbecue of New Hope, Pennsylvania, and fabulous desserts by Podge Cakes of New Hope. Network Lambertville is held at Green Birdie Productions Green Screen Studio at 21 Bridge Street in Lambertville, New Jersey. Networking with wine and past appetizers starts at 6 p.m., with dinner served at 7:30 p.m. All networkers get 1 minute with microphone to talk about their business to the group. There is no fee to join Network Lambertville, but we do ask for a $20 tax-deductible donation at the door to help cover expenses. Network Lambertville has over 450 members, but we do limit attendance to the first 50 guests. So please log on to www.networklambertville.com now to sign up and for more information. See you at the next Network Lambertville on Thursday, February 4th, starting at 6 p.m.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. December promise you gave unto me. December whispers of treachery. December clouds are covering me. December songs no longer I sing. December promise you gave unto me. December whispers of treachery. December clouds are covering me. December December songs no longer sing. This is Tony from Aberration, and you're listening to PANJ Radio. Don't worry about, don't think aloud. Turn your head, baby, just spit me out. Turn your head.
And welcome back to Food for Thought. I'm Deirdre Anderson with Delish Personal Chef Services. We're here with PANJRadio.com.
Hi, it's Laura Mangone here, and I'm from Chambers Walk Cafe and Catering in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And yeah, we're back.
We're back. So I just wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about some restaurants.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean, I know we're operating out of Hunterdon County in New Jersey.
Yeah.
This one is not. Okay.
Okay.
But I find that for me, there's not a lot that excites me in Hunterdon County.
Hunterdon County,
And
yeah.
I can say that blatantly here at PANJRadio.com because I'm not on the Food for Thought show with the Hunterdon Chamber of Commerce.
This
where
is true.
I always feel like I have to
Where
be
you
careful.
have a loyalty, right?
I got to be careful what I say. God forbid I, piss off one of those
Chamber
dudes
members.
who I don't like.
Chamber members.
So
Well, there's a couple of, they're not,
tell me.
come on. There's a few.
Tell
We
me.
had this conversation. Hamilton's Grill.
Zip, zip.
She's zipping her.
Zip.
She's zipping her lip. There are a few that are not awful.
Horrible. Okay,
Horrible.
I'll give you that. Okay. Yeah, no,
I
I'll
like
tell you.
Siam,
Right?
the Indian restaurant in Lambertville. Here in Lambertville.
Wait a minute. What Indian restaurant in Lambertville?
Thai. Sorry, Thai.
Thai
restaurant.
Taida? Or are you talking about Siam?
Siam.
Siam.
I like Matt's Red
is
Rooster
good.
Grill. I like Matt's in Flemington.
You do?
I do, as a matter of
Really?
fact. I do.
Do you know the history that I have with him?
I do not know the history that you have with him, but I have been
You
there.
wanna know?
No. I know.
I'm going to tell you anyway.
I know that I've
I'm
been
gonna
there
tell you
on
anyway.
wait, let me finish. I've been there on numerous occasions, and I've had lovely meals.
Okay.
Also, down the street from him on Main Street, Orvieto, I like very much.
Are you kidding me?
Classic Northern. I've been there.
She's crazy.
I am not crazy.
No, I'm talking about the chick that owns
Oh,
it.
yeah, well, most restaurateurs are crazy.
Oh,
Deirdre,
my God.
you and I have a little crazy in us as well.
I know that.
Okay.
But at least I'm nice.
Get on with your New Jersey restaurant.
No, I want to tell you my relationship with
Okay.
Mr.
On air.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to think about this. Okay. I got to think about the whole. Like, I mean, I can't get in trouble if I just state the facts, right? If I just talk about what happened.
No, you can't get in trouble.
Okay.
Facts are good.
So back when I had my restaurant.
And we've already learned that you don't care as much as I do about
No.
what other people think.
No, I'm trying to help you. I'm
Okay.
trying to show you to be brave and not care what they think.
Okay.
Because I'm not saying anything insulting or disparaging. I'm talking about the facts of what happened.
Okay.
So back when I had my restaurant,
Yeah.
and I was so happy to have my little restaurant. I used to go running every day, and I would pray to God, thank you, Lord, for giving me my dream.
Where was your restaurant?
It was where Chive and Time is now. And it was back in the day, it was Caruso's for many years. It used to be the Wiener King a million years ago, and when 25 years ago. Anyway, right between Liberty Village and Turntable Junction.
Right.
I thought I was getting a good location. I was not at a good location. And even though I lived in Flemington, I misjudged the location.
There's not a lot of foot traffic
profoundly.
on that part of Liberty
Right.
Village.
Used to
right.
be back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
But not so much anymore. So anyway,
Right.
I was kind of doomed for failure because I was undercapitalized. There was a lot of things I did wrong. So I'm not
And
blaming.
a lot of people think, I mean, I have 4 chapters written of a book that's called It's All About the Glamour, because people think it's glamorous to own a restaurant. And
Yeah.
it's anything but.
That's what I think I told you the story. Maybe it was the other show, but I remember lying one weird thing that happened in the restaurant all the time is when someone opened the door, the pilot light from the hot water heater would go out.
Oh my gosh.
So I was constantly in the back room.
On your hands and knees?
No, well, this time I was lying on my back because, it's like greasy, disgusting floor, but, need hot water,
Yeah.
And I'm trying to light the
it?
pilot light, and it goes, ba-boom, in my face.
Oh no. You burned your...
Oh burned my hair.
gosh.
And then I had my cell phone. So one of my girlfriends called me. I pick it up. She goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Living my flipping dream." That's what I'm doing.
Just burned my
Want to
hair.
clean the grease trap for me?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I mean, you have to love it, or
I
else.
have to interject.
Okay,
When
you
Mary,
just don't want me to talk trash.
No, I do.
Okay.
When Mario and I, when we started Chambers Walk, it was on a little lane off of between Palmer Square and Witherspoon Street in Princeton, on a little extension of Chambers
Great
Street. So it was
location.
called Chambers Walk.
Yeah.
We were there. We started there in 1986, and we once had our grease trap back up.
Ew.
We are talking, for those that don't know, a grease trap
It's gross.
is the thing, it's the trap that's connected to all of your sinks.
got Vinny gagging
Vinny,
over there.
are you okay? Are we losing you over there? Okay. So, you would have, let me finish.
Because that's what you do.
That's what you do
when you
when
look
you-
at what's in the grease trap. That's what you start doing.
That's
you start
exactly what you start
going,
doing. So the grease trap basically does that. It traps grease that goes into the sinks.
But it doesn't. Let's describe it. It doesn't just look like, ooh, there's grease.
No.
It looks like it's alive.
It does. It looks like it's the creature from the Black Lagoon.
It's like
it's disgusting.
It's foamy.
It's
and
foamy
it's wiggly and it's gross and it stinks.
And it is a big rectangular plate that is in the kitchen that has this big nut
having
on the top of
flashbacks.
it. And periodically you have to take the cover off, and a company comes in that services restaurants, and they come in with a big hose, akin to what they do when they clean out a septic tank, I'm assuming. And they suck all the sludge out. Well, if you can imagine, the water is running through this thing into your city sewer, your wherever. Well, if it backs up, we walked into the restaurant not only to a horrific smell that hit us the moment we opened the door, but literally 3 inches of sludge all throughout. Thank the Lord.
That's what it's like to have a restaurant, people.
Yeah. Thank the Lord. We had, tile floors throughout.
Right.
But
you
it was,
clean it up effectively.
Dining room,
Yeah.
behind the counter, in all of our rubber mats that we use for cushioning in the
God.
kitchen. Oh my gosh, it was horrible.
I could almost
Horrible.
gag listening to the story.
Horrible. And yeah, horrible.
So anyway,
Back to your...
I had my little restaurant. I knew I was never going to get rich. I knew I was never going to make a lot of money, but it was my dream, and
Right.
it was what I loved doing. And there were a lot of things I did wrong. A lot of people told me, if you had opened up in Lambertville, you would have had a chance. What you were trying to do was such an eclectic
Right.
menu. I had Thai dishes, I had Indian, I had Nicaraguan, it was
Right.
all over the globe, and it was just a little too funky
Too much
for the
for them,
town.
yeah.
And so, there were a lot of stuff I did wrong. But anyway, so I decided, I thought in my mind, worst case scenario, you just sell,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what if nobody wants it?
Yeah.
Nobody wants to buy it. Okay, so I really miscalculated my worst case scenario because
Right.
I tried to portray this image like, you know what, I'm here, everything's fine.
Right.
I've just decided that this is not for me and I would
Right.
like to sell it. Now, I was going to sell it for a pittance,
Yeah.
okay, but at least, and I still would have owed money. It still would have not been
Still
a good
had
thing,
vendors
but
and stuff. You still had...
I still would have owed money and it would have been a nightmare, but at least I'd be able to walk away with my dignity, just like I did to the last guy who he wanted $50,000 for the restaurant. It's just the equipment and the lease.
Right.
I said to him, no. And I said, and by the way, if somebody offers you 20, you realize you got to take it and run.
Right.
And he was like, this guy knew nothing about restaurants.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So and sure enough, nobody wanted it. I turned around and I gave him 10.
Right.
Didn't have to.
Wow.
I could have waited until his ass was out on the street.
Right.
But because I wanted to do the right thing, and yeah, I am getting some equipment here. It might be old and dated, but getting a restaurant for 10 grand, this is how it works, right?
Yep.
So he was able to walk away with his dignity. Me, not so much. So I had someone, a buyer. Guess who it was?
Matt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we were under agreement, under contract to, I think it was 20,000. I can't really remember.
Okay.
It was some small amount. Believe me, I owed a lot more than that.
Right.
So, but
You were happy to have an offer and
I was
get
happy
out.
to
Right.
just be able to get
Walk
a little bit
away.
of money. I would have been able to pay at least, my vendors. Anyway,
Yeah.
long story. But so what did they do when they smelled blood? Because my landlord told them that I was up Shiitake Creek and out of money. And that I was in a desperate situation. My landlord told them that.
That's a
So what did
breach.
they do? They got out of the contract because, of course, I couldn't afford to hire an attorney. I didn't have an attorney through the process. And, of course, there was a loophole in the contract that allowed them to get out of the contract.
Right.
And they waited until the locks were changed so that they could get it for nothing.
Oh my gosh.
And that's what happened. I got the notice that the locks were going to be changed at 3:00 in the afternoon. I'll never forget. I was up on Main Street in Flemington. I was on my knees sobbing, calling Max. Remember Max from...
Oh, Max Hansen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not Max Hansen. Max, the Italian guy that owned these different restaurants in Flemington. He used to own the... Anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Big Flemington
Yes.
restaurant guy.
Yeah.
He was one of my mentors and stuff. And I'm like sobbing on Main Street because I've got to get my shiitake out of the building by
Right.
3:00.
Oh my gosh.
It was the worst,
Aw.
to date, the worst experience of my life.
Okay. Okay, so you don't want to hear that I like the food at Matt's
No.
Red Rooster. Okay.
No, and my point being that
I shall never go there
because I'm not
again.
slandering, I'm not maligning anybody because I'm just stating the facts.
Right.
Everything they did was within the parameters of the law.
Right.
They did not break the law.
Right. But it's not cool.
I don't operate that way.
Right.
I don't take as much money from my ex-husband because the law entitles me to it. I
Right.
don't.
Right.
I do the right thing.
Right.
And
I'm sorry to hear that. And
Yeah, I actually got a little emotional right here.
I know. I'm watching you. I see
So-
that. So I will never. I'm telling you at my solemn oath right now.
Okay, she's
we're
shaking my hand.
hands. I will never go to Matt's
Thank you.
Red Rooster Grill
And
again.
what is it called? I got to think of the German word when you take pleasure in somebody else's misfortune. What is it? Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude.
Schadenfreude is when you take
Wow.
pleasure in someone. Well,
You're
guess what?
You're sadistic.
I had Schadenfreude because the investors, Matt's Red Rooster, and the whole
Sadism.
their whole thing came undone at the Union Hotel, and I had some Schadenfreude there.
Yeah, it's called karma.
Yeah.
And I totally believe in, I totally
So-
believe in
Karma.
What you give,
It just
you
doesn't
get.
always, but it just doesn't happen quickly enough for me sometimes.
Sometimes you have to
I
wait.
had to wait 10 years for that.
Sometimes you have to wait, but it's still sweet if someone has wronged you and you feel like they've, done it.
Well, yeah, they destroyed me. I mean, I was, oh boy. I mean, financially, I was absolutely, any money that I did have was gone.
Right.
And I owed the world.
No.
And not only that, but I lost my business, my dream.
Yeah.
So my heart
the
was
heartbreaking part of it.
broken. It took me to recover financially.
Mm-hmm.
What I did was I paid off all of the vendors slowly. A couple of them took me 3 years to pay them. And I found actually there were 2 employees that I owed money to. It was like a couple $100 to each one, but still it always bothered me because I never got to say goodbye. I never, they
Right.
came to work one day probably and it was not there,
Right.
So it was like a year later and I found them. I went knocking door to door. There's one girl from Colombia and her name was Olivia. So I went to the Spanish section
To find her?
and I just knocked door to door looking for Olivia. She's from Colombia, and sure enough, I found her and I handed her the $250,
that's
and
great.
she said, "Thank you, lady." Thank you, lady. And
Well,
and then so financially, I actually had to say uncle in about 2 years. I had to declare bankruptcy. I just couldn't make the payments. And then so this credit card company that was, I was struggling to pay somehow snuck in this little thing that I signed. I don't even know how it happened. And it entitled them to seize my assets. So I go to the bank I go to pay for something and they're like, your debit card is declined. And I'm like, what? And so I had like $3,000 in the bank. They took it. They took it.
Wow.
So then I borrowed money, from a mutual friend of ours. No, actually I didn't borrow from Rob. I borrowed it from my mother. I might have borrowed some from Rob. And I opened up, because I had car payment. I had things I had to pay for. So I opened up another account. They took that.
oh God.
They know where, it's like Big Brother. They know where you are.
Were you married at this point? Did you have
No,
kids
thank
at this point?
God. I had kids, but I was already
Right,
divorced.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah, it was brutal. So I declared bankruptcy, but then you start to recover financially eventually someday, years later. You start to recover emotionally about, what happened, but spiritually,
Yeah.
I think I was broken.
You were
And guess what?
wounded.
I'm
You were
segueing here.
You were mortally wounded.
I was mortally wounded. I think sometimes when your spirit is mortally wounded, it just goes to sleep because it can't handle what's happening. His spirit is like always has to protect itself.
Yeah.
Okay? Your mind can go, your spirit knows that. So sometimes when you're traumatized, I think your spirit goes to sleep. So I'm working at a gym. A couple of years later,
Right.
I was selling gym memberships and I was teaching Zumba.
Yay,
And
Zumba. For
this
those of you
wom-
that don't know, Deirdre is an awesome, energetic, inspiring, enveloping, irresistible Zumba instructor.
Okay, Laura, I'm just going to say 2 words. Fried calamari. Okay.
I love
As
you.
much as
You're-
I have people that worship the ground I walk on, there's just as many who run away screaming or tell
Well-
me that I'm the worst instructor on the planet.
Well, they are frittata crazy.
So this woman who knew me from the gym,
Right.
I was at the front desk, and she said, "What's different about you? Did you fall in love? Like, what happened?" And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "You're a whole aura. Everything it's like you're
She felt
glowing."
it.
And I get teared up every time I tell this story. But I didn't want to say anything. It was too embarrassing. But I knew it was the
Your
Zumba.
spirit was
my
healing.
Zumba woke up.
Your
My spirit woke up.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So
Gonna make me cry.
I know. Now people are like, "Did you ever open a restaurant again?" I'm like, "Are you freaking crazy?"
Would you like to buy one? No.
Yeah, right. Unless I had this is how I would open a restaurant. If I had a really, really silent partner.
With a lot of money.
Really silent, like shut the F up.
With a
silent.
lot.
With a lot of
Deep,
money.
deep
So if we
pockets.
lost like 200,000, they would be like, "That's okay, Deirdre, because like I totally need the write-off."
Right. Yeah.
That's how I would open a restaurant.
Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
Manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do not have the same. I think, honestly, if Newark were right around the corner,
Right.
that's where I'd go to eat.
You'd be at the Iberian Peninsula. one of the
Any
Portuguese-
number of restaurants there. I think there's so many that are good. I think that I think that, and this is where I'm going to talk about Pine Tavern for a
Yep.
little bit, because then I have a theory about why these areas and these restaurants are successful. I
Right.
think that when you're living in a densely populated area,
Yes.
and Old Bridge is a densely populated area. There's that
Yeah.
Route 1, the
Yeah.
9 that goes, oh my gosh.
That's a big
It's
group.
a
Yep.
lot of people, a lot of Italians.
Yep.
When you have a densely populated group and
Yep.
a lot of Italian people who really know good food,
Right.
The good ones survive, the bad
Yeah.
ones don't. And and also a factor for me in restaurants being appealing is definitely the cost. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that I'm broke. It has everything to do.
Absolutely.
I don't like being gouged, whether I had a lot of money or not a lot.
Absolutely.
It should be fair priced.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's what you get when you go to Newark.
I agree.
That's what you get when you go to Pine Tavern. So let me tell you what we had at Pine Tavern.
That's what you get when you go to Chambers Walk.
And I'm sorry. How could I forget to say that?
That's all right.
I'm sorry.
Because we're,
I'm self-absorbed.
I always feel like we should be concentrating like on Hunterdon County, when
No, we don't have to.
I know, but
We're going nationwide, Laura.
Okay,
I mean,
yep.
for goodness sake.
follow us on YouTube, people.
So, Pine Tavern.
Yes.
I forget how much a glass of wine is. Probably like $7 or $8.
Okay.
Okay.
That's pretty
Grilled
reasonable.
octopus
Yeah.
with just the most simple, less is more with octopus, I think. It's like olive oil, a little bit of garlic, lemon. I finished it with some lemon juice. So all the juices are and then some bread, which I can't not have bread.
Of course.
On nights like this. I just have
course.
to get rid of all of my carb
You're-
problems
Right.
and just do it. And so then we had the fried calamari,
Yeah.
or how do you say it in Italian? Calamari,
Got 'em all. Yeah.
which we used to think it was so when we moved from Brooklyn. And
Calamari.
people, and we'd be like, Mom, around here they say calamari.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Fried calamari. I'm going to transition into restaurant pet peeves after this.
Okay.
Do we have time?
I don't think.
All right, we got
Pet
time.
Pet peeves next time. Well, what else? No, you had calamari.
Fried calamari.
What else did you have?
And
The octopus.
tableside guacamole.
Oh, I love it.
So they just, it's like a thing lately that this is being
Yeah.
popular, tableside guacamole.
You
and it's
started to say tableside. I thought you were going to say table. Whenever I hear tableside, for some reason, my head goes to Caesar salad, which was going to remind me the anchovies.
another pet peeve. This is a perfect segue. Okay.
Okay.
So
We have 4
So we had
minutes.
the 3 apps
Yep.
and 2 drinks each, $50.
Yeah.
And we had like
Perfect.
the best night. Like I just don't like
That's-
going places, spending 130 and thinking, I could
Yeah.
have done better than that.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So restaurant pet peeves.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a restaurant pet peeve, but it's a people pet peeve when it comes to anchovies.
Okay.
I think everything that is delicious about a dish, not everything, but when you have something that has anchovies in it and you're loving it, the reason
That's
you're
why you like
that's
it.
why you're loving it is the
Nah,
anchovy.
I
that
don't know.
that
I
level
think
of,
people are. Here's my
deliciousness.
theory on anchovies. I think people, generally speaking, are pretty lame.
Okay.
And
I wouldn't go so far.
okay, because
but-
I used to. I can't tell you how many. This is one of my pet peeves, and it has to do with anchovies in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Caesar salad,
But no anchovies, they say.
no anchovies.
You
in
can't
it.
make a Caesar
I'll
salad.
be like, okay, that is like so whack. Like, why even have a Caesar salad if there's no anchovy in the journey? Well, a lot of people don't like it. Well, screw them.
But a lot of people don't know. They think that anchovies, they don't realize that when they have a Caesar salad, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, there's anchovy in there, whether they are being told that or not. And the reason they like the anchovy, or
I
the
don't
reason they
know.
like the Caesar dressing, is because of that salty layer, that
I
nutty,
think
salty
a
layer.
lot of restaurant owners are pussies.
Boy.
They are.
Or potatoes.
Somebody complains about something. I used to work. I won't mention the name because I actually really like this restaurant and the guy is a friend of mine. But worked at a restaurant where fried calamari, no tentacles.
That's
okay.
ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Pretty much, if I go to a restaurant and there's no tentacles with the fried calamari, you are dead to me.
Yeah, I'm not
Okay,
eating there.
I'm not. And then that doesn't mean now. Sometimes if they're done well, and if they're cooked at the right temperature,
That's the best part, though.
I know.
I know. I don't. Yeah. No,
I
don't
can't stand that. Okay, another
pet peeve.
pet peeve, restaurant pet peeve is the overuse of culinary terms in the menu description.
Okay, I get that.
Brunoise.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most people
Nobody
don't know
knows what
what a
brunoise
brunoise
means,
cut
but
means.
it just means a little tiny little piece. Okay, it means like cut really little teeny weeny. I mean, come on, just call it teeny weeny. Don't call it brunoise.
Right.
Or let's see, what's the other one they love to use?
Macerated.
Macerated.
Or, gosh, there's so many adjectives that people use that, it's not necessary. You don't have to make food complicated. And one of my
Julienne,
major...
julienne is a culinary term, but it's a culinary term that's more recognizable to most people. Okay, so brunoise is not.
Right.
And that's what I don't... 1 minute?
One huge...
Can we make the show 2 hours?
Sure.
This is not enough time for me.
Well, I have a big thing that bugs me on restaurant menus is misspellings.
Yeah, well, that's
just
do not.
unacceptable. Unacceptable. Yeah.
And I have another restaurant pet peeve. The way that, especially at chains. Yeah. Not that I go to chains a lot, but sometimes when my kids were little, I did.
Oh.
The way they have to, the way they have to say goodbye to you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Have a nice day. And when it doesn't come out right, like it's totally fake, and I want to look at them and go, oh, screw you. Just don't say anything if you don't mean it.
Because that was a foreign one to me. Well,
What?
There's like a script that they need to follow. And
I used to work at the Longhorn Steakhouse, girl.
oh my gosh!
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the one here
like
in
a 40. Oh yeah. Talk about like humility.
What is that? Is it like a ground? Do you remember Ground Round?
It's
is
gross.
That what it is
what it is. It's not one real thing on the menu. Everything's from a packet.
It's just
it's gross. Okay.
Steak.
And we would get yelled at if we didn't say you didn't say goodbye. And I'm like, bye, goodbye. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. We might have a guest next week. We might not on Food for Thought, and that is, of course, here at PANJradio.com.
Bye.